Good morning, viewers, and welcome to Today on ACNN, where we challenge perspective to bring you trending updates, Anglicanism, the latest news on sports, and the stories shaping our world today. All of these, I tell you, are anchored on integrity, guided by truth, and viewed through the lens of faith. And on our top stories this morning, Nigerians still continue to grapple with the controversy surrounding the alleged head of the fictitious Presidential Foreign Intervention Promotion Council, that is termed PFIPC. Authorities accuse the suspect of forging official documents, impersonating government officials, securing office space within the Federal Secretariat, and facilitating the inclusion of the non-existent agency in the national budget. The federal government has ordered an anti-corruption investigation while the case still remains before the court. The development have raised serious concern about accountability, document verification, and oversight within our public institution. Good morning once more. I am Godwin Ujiri, your anchor, but I'm not alone this morning in the studio. Two co-anchor and to steady the ship with me is
Femi Ogundare. Good morning, Godwin.
Good morning, Femi. It's nice having you on set.
Same man.
Yeah, it's quite a long time since we both was on set.
Actually.
All right, thank you so much for making our time. And also to do justice with all the issues that we have in the front burner for our discussion this morning is a friend, a brother, and a comrade in person of our comrade Habila Kait, who is the executive director of Godspeed Leadership and Mentorship Development Initiative. Comrade, good morning.
Good morning, and thank you for having me.
All right, it's a pleasure having you once more on today on ACNN because previously, I think when we both were on sets, it was when the show was still tagged or anchored as now streaming. All right. So how has it been on set this morning?
I can see there is quite improvement in the studio, and I can see how intentional you have been in also making the conversation worldwide for viewers and other people who want to follow to get first-hand information and also contribute to national.
All right, thank you so much. And it's nice getting to hear this review from our guest in the studio. And very much later in the course of the show, we would be having our virtual guest joining us from the other climes, outside the shores of Nigeria, in person of Dr. Felix Onyelola, who happens to be a therapist and would be, we all together with him will be reviewing his latest publication, but that will come much later in the course of the show. But viewers, remember you can be part of this show by calling in the number showing on your screen and also by sending your comment via our various social media platform. But first, we'll take a look at some select newspapers headlines that came in this morning. Femi.
All right. Thank you so much, Godwin. Starting with the Daily Global. And straight to the masthead, we have gunmen kill Lagos NURTW organizing secretary. Now to the major story. Tinubu vows renewed clampdown on quack engineers. Wow, it's great. And beside that, we have police confirm arrest of fake agency DG Adeyemi in Osun State. Below the major story, we have Honorable Minister of Foreign Affairs arrives in Portugal for the 2026 Euro-African Forum. And below the picture story, we have Spain beat France 2-0, still plays in World Cup. That's all we have on Daily Global. Now to Vanguard. And starting with the masthead, we have Oyedele pushes for results-driven reforms, stronger regional tax cooperation. That's on page 19 of the Vanguard. We have ADC insists appeal called verdict has no effect on presidential tickets. That story is on page 9 of the Vanguard. Also, we have Tinubu didn't call Makinde over Oriri rescue coming from the SGF. That story is on page 30 of the Vanguard. Now to the major story, we have PFIPC. Police nab DG Adeyemi in Oshun village hideout. The kickers we have as court order is arrest for failing to appear. Fixes September 30th for arraignment. All those stories are on page 5 of the Vanguard. Beside the picture story, we have why Nigerians database is still fragmented despite names claimed. That on page 10 of the Vanguard. Tinubu transmits state police constitution amendment bill to reps. That we can find on page 8 of the Vanguard. Below that, we have INEC seek more funding for elections. More funding. More funding. And that's on page 40 of the Vanguard. And now below the picture story, we have xenophobia, South African returnees recant ordeal. The kickers as 315 Nigerians returned today in final evacuation. The story is on page 9 of the Vanguard. I think that's all we have from. Okay, I think let me just mention that we have the picture story and we have the arrest of the alleged fake DG sitting down on the beer on a bare floor. I hope Nigeria will not humble this man. All right, or humiliate the man.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Femi. Indeed, in the course of you reading the newspaper headline, it was a very funny one there. All right, viewers, we will be looking now very quickly at on the front page of the Punch newspaper. And the Punch is leading with almost the same stories that Femi read out. But this the front page carries fake agency scandal. How IGP Special Forces arrested controversial DG in Oshun hideout. This story can be seen on page 2, and it carries some of the kickers there that says, inside the 1 week manhunt that led to Adeyemi's arrest. And then also we have Abuja High Court postponed arraignments until September 30th. And then lastly on that, we have NBA orders pushes for evidence-driven investigation. And then just above the Punch masthead there, we have federal government and UN-led humanitarian coordination. And this story can be seen on page 7. And then on page 9, we have reps dump on state police bill, adopts Tinubu's version. Wow. And then on page 8, we have Oyo abduction. Senate SGF fault Makinde's UN probe demand. And then just by the side of the Punch masthead there, we have 2027 race. INEC recognizes Atiku and 470 ADC candidates. And this story can be seen on page 9 of on the Punch newspaper. And then just below the Punch masthead there is one that as Nigerians we would say is a good one to behold. And it reads, Tears Joy as abducted or your puppies reunite with parents. Page 7. And I must say, despite the controversy surrounding their release, the joy for most Nigerians is that they are back home to their families there. But we're going to still look at that. And you see the jubilation of parents there. And I think for me it goes with what the Bible says, can a woman forget are young, you get. All right, moving on now, we would be looking at the Guardian newspaper. And the Guardian is leading with this story that affects almost everyone in Nigeria. It says fuel jumps by 100 naira per liter as Dangote shifts 1.84 billion FX burden to marketers. This story can be seen on page 6. And then on the fictitious agency that we read out earlier from the Punch newspaper and also the Vanguard, we have PFIPC cause grows for Senate. Bajabia Miller probe as police arrest at Deyemi. And this story can be seen on page 3. And lastly, on the front page of The Guardian, we have Orire kidnapping, Senate, lawyers, civil society organization divided over marking this push for UN probe. Wow. All right, viewers, there you have it. These are the stories that we have read out to you that are on the front page of our newspaper, of the newspaper this morning. Like we always do, advise you to go get a copy of all of this newspaper and follow through with this development story. And I believe you don't want and to miss out there. And now we will be diving into our discussion segment. But before we do that, we now have our virtual guests joining us all the way from across the shores of Nigeria in person of Dr. Felix Onyilola. Dr. Felix Onyilola is the okay. I think I can now see him. He is a therapist and the author of the book we would be reviewing in the course of the show, Parenting Gen Z from the Therapist Standpoint. Dr. Felix, good morning and welcome to Today on ACNN.
Good morning. Thank you for having me today.
All right, it's quite a delight having you join us on the show this morning. All right, moving on very quickly to our discussion segment. We will be looking at some of the stories that are making headlines on our newspaper this morning before we delve into looking at the book that we are going to be reviewing in line with the author of that book, who is right there virtually with us. I believe no one, including viewers, you don't want to miss out on that segment. But right here with us is Comrade Habila Kate, and then a whole lot of issues have sparked reaction across the length and breadth of Nigeria and even across the shores of Nigeria, which we believe the doctor virtually is even right aware of some of this issue. It's as regards to the fake agency scandal and the controversy that is presently surrounding the presidency, because the presidential spokesperson or chief of staff of the president allegedly is complicit when it comes to this particular matter in person of Femi Bajabia Miller there. So what is your take on this? Because it is a scandal that have rubbed off, in all honesty, on the presidency of Bola Ahmed Tinubu. And here we are seeing a capture of this person 1 week in an hideout, but yet not so much is being said. And the likes of the NBA are pushing for an evidence-driven investigation. So let's get your take on this.
Thank you so much for having me this morning. The Nigerian government must make citizens to understand that they are also part of the developmental process of our dear country. There are policies that the government have brought out that citizens feel very comfortable to also be part of those policies. For example, the whistle blowers policies. So citizens must feel very comfortable to be open to expose some of the things that are not right and be protected by the law. So we need institutions that will guarantee that if you have seen what is wrong and you are trying to highlight some of these things that are wrong, if it more especially when it concerns people who are in leadership position. So by no means should government institutions hide, conceal some of these facts. and not provide a level playing ground for people who are alleging. Just like the law will say, he who alleges has the burden of proof. Now, this man in question has been very vocal at a point till this point that he looks very helpless. I remember when this issue was raised in the floor of the Senate, and from the body language, you understand that this man doesn't seem to, be given a playing ground. Why would issue of this magnitude be declined from being probed from the National Assembly? Then look at the reports from other agencies of government. So, just like the man have said, I'm not saying the man is saying the truth. I'm not saying the man is not saying the truth. But why would an agency follow with some government regulations that has to do with budgeting that went to National Assembly and their conversation with the Central Bank of Nigeria? So that shows that there is a systemic flow. There is a breach in systemic flow for an agency that is fake to find its way to National Assembly, find its way to CBN, has a functional account with CBN, and all of that. That left so much to be desired. Now, for me, I am not saying he's free, and I'm not also vindicating those people he's accusing. So let there be a level playing ground, and the NBA and the Nigerian media are the watchdog. So they should be able to stand firm. They should be able to protect this man. And if the man is guilty, let the rod of the law take its course. And if the people they are he's accusing are also guilty, let them also face the rod of the law.
All right.
All right. Considering the array of receipts um, presented by Prince Adeyemi, will you say there is maybe one or many of these politicians who are backing him? Because considering him coming out and say he has a dollar, pounds, naira account with the CBN, was issued a letter from the SGF, an array of law of receipts, trying to use the Gen Z's language. He has evidence or evidences. Will you say there is one or two persons in the government backing this man? Mr. Abila,
Okay.
you can't go to the secretariat to have the office for yourself.
You see, we cannot preempt what is most likely to happen. And for an agency to find its way to, in fact, according to reports, that some staff were deployed from the Accountant General Office to that particular agency. So the head of service is in charge of deploying workforce. So there's so much. We need an open system. We need an open governance system where you can walk in, where the institutions will be stronger than individuals. Based on your question, it is glaring that you cannot walk that far without backings from government offices. So if you can trace the movement of communication within government offices, except if some of these communication flow have been concealed. But you can see clearly that for CBN, as digital and as sophisticated as CBN is, CBN cannot just flow in money to an agency without due forensic investigation. And we will not jump into conclusion, but the burden of this very issue lies on the Nigerian Bar Association, which is a very firm and strong organization, and they should be balanced on it. So we cannot dig deep. The police has a very strong investigative platform. They should also be unbiased. we have the state security services. They can also dig deep. So all government apparatus that are saddled with the responsibility of investigating should take this issue strongly, strongly, so that Nigerians will have confidence in the system.
All right. Thank you so much, comrade. For the want of time, I wanted to ask, given the antecedents of this present administration, and we know that it seems as though he is fighting corruption heads on. We have seen ministers who have resigned on account of allegation being brought up against them, the likes of the Minister of Humanitarian Affairs, the Minister of Women Affairs, the one that has the certificate scandal surrounding him. All of these persons were once part of the President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's administration. Now, given the fact that this present controversy is within his chief of staff or the office of the chief of staff, do you see the same hammer being stretched towards Femi Gbajabiamila?
This is left solely for the president to take that decision, because the president, that's his domestic staff. As far as the chief of staff is concerned, is the number one domestic staff of the president, not domestic staff per se in his house, but in his office. That's the number one person. So it is within the power of the president to say, I want you out, because what they're accusing you of is denting the image of, one, my office, two, my personality, three, my government.
All right, thank you
Sorry,
so much.
just
All
one
right,
minute,
Femi.
please. On 27th October 2025, this same president was arrested. While he was in custody, the bill for the agency was passed, written, passed, then defended in the National Assembly. And he was then in custody on 27th October 2025. I want to ask you, who defended those bills? Why the said director was in custody?
I don't know, sir.
Let me say, I don't. It means we have complicit in the government.
It was a direct question, and I also am giving you a direct answer. I don't
understand.
know.
As well.
All right, thank you all so much. And we will be moving on to another issue, one that bothers and troubles a whole lot of Nigerians, and that is the result of the fuel jump by 100 naira, as Dangote have shifted the FX burden of $1.84 billion to marketers. And now I will be bringing my virtual guests into this conversation in person of Dr. Felix Onyilola. Doctor, thank you once more for being part of the show. And I just want to ask, given all of the controversies between the United States and the Middle Eastern countries and nations, the way we are having increments in fuel that is biting hard on an average Nigeria, do we have same in the United States?
I think it's in Canada.
Thank you so much. About the question you are asking me,
Canada,
I think whatever happening
Ontario.
anywhere in the world, that's the way it's called across, different
Ottawa.
climes.
I think Ottawa.
Whatever happening back there in Nigeria, of course, in every country, they have their own taste of it. Just that the way it affects us is in a different way, not the same way. But you can be sure everybody's having a share in it. So whatever happening, for example, when we're talking about inflation is everywhere. It's not only in Nigeria. People here also are experiencing inflation, an economic crisis, one way or the other. Just that the way it affects each client is different.
All
That's
right.
just what to say about that.
All right.
All right, doctor. Can you hear me, doctor?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, thank you so much. It's a privilege to also be on set with Doctor.
Indeed.
Doctor is a senior colleague and a father in God.
Indeed.
We met many years back, and he has not ceased to be a mentor.
Indeed.
And Doctor, I want to ask that you make a precise, a definite comment on the dilapidated situation of our economy in Nigeria. I don't know if you are willing to make a comment on that.
Well, when it comes to economy, I think it's a progressive thing. It's not the same. It moves from one time to the other. It's very fluid in the sense that there's always been inflation. There's always been economic problem. Just that things are getting worse with exchange rate, so to say. For example, I was discussing with someone in a recent time when I was saying that when we send money to our loved ones in Nigeria, when we send, to support them, maybe like 2-3 years ago, we know the exchange rate. $1 is almost $1,500 at the time, times 1.3, at times 1.4, at times 1.2. But in the last couple of months, I noticed that $1 is less than 1,000 naira now. It's around 900 something, and I was asking my question. I was asking myself a question: what's going on here? It's like naira is gaining strength, right? So, and somebody else called me. I said, "Do you notice this? It's happening." I said, "Yes." I noticed that many years ago, 2-3 years ago, a dollar is almost $1,500 or even more, but now we're having it less than 1,000. So just that there is a progress. It's only that the progress economy is experiencing is not reflecting in the grassroots. It's not reflecting in day-to-day life of the people. It's not reflecting in what we buy in the market. It's not reflecting what we get in the in gas stations. So we may not know. That's why the issue per country is concerning. If we continue to go the way we are going, eventually some of this progress may reflect in this thing. But because we have been in this same cycle over a very long time, so it's difficult to identify all this change, to see them glaring. But we can't totally condemn our government. They are trying their best. The issue of Nigeria has always been there forever. They are trying their best. The best man in the world, if you put them in charge of Nigeria, will still complain. So, but what is important is that we just need to continue to encourage them, pray for them, and challenge, speak truth to the power. And when we do that, our criticism sometimes are very destructive, and that has not been helpful. I think we should change our orientation. Something is wrong with our value fundamentally. We criticize, destructively, not constructively, and we should begin to change that idea. All right, people who are leading us, they need encouragement. We need to pray for them. We need to encourage them, and we need to speak truth to them in a constructive way. And with that, I think we can continue to make progress.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor. Indeed, we need to criticize constructively and not destructively. And I want to trust that we have been doing our own share of that right here on today on ACNN. All right, comrade, you've heard what the doctor said. What is your take, generally speaking, based on the question Femi asked? In 1 minute, please.
Okay. I feel our economy is work in progress. Why I say it is work in progress, because we cannot, to be realistic, you cannot expect a 360-degree recovery from what has been in the past and how it is today. Now, I can tell you categorically that there is one pronouncement that resulted to some of the challenges that we are having. And if we are going to take that pronouncement positively and hold people in leadership position accountable, we are going to shift from the current situation to a far better engagement. Now, the pronouncement was the removal of subsidy. And from the removal of subsidy till this particular time, we have learned that there is more money in the hands of state governments and local government. So if the state government if the state governments and local governments will operate within the best practice, putting the interests of the people first, then we should be able to translate these resources that has gotten into their possession to positive development. So, and if the roads from within communities are being fixed, if the local government chairman, after receiving much more money, decided to also take an initiative to improve the agricultural initiative within his local area, and also increase the security within his domain, then we are going to have a better economy. Now, but the onions is in people who are in leadership position. How they translate or how they use these resources to the good of the people is left to be analyzed.
All right. Thank you so much, Comrade Habilak here there for all of your wonderful analysis, and also to Dr. Felix for making apt contribution as regards the issue, and also to my co-anchor. Very quickly, we will take a short breather to look into a major segment of this show, where we would be looking at a book publication by one of our guests in person of Dr. Felix Onyola, who has timely made a publication on a book titled Parenting Gen Z from the Therapist Standpoint. When we return, we will look into that holistically, and he is here to make in apt analysis on all that he has written as regards that book. So viewers, please stay tuned, don't go away, because I promise you, you don't want to miss out from this very rich and engaging segment that will come right after the break. All right, welcome back, viewers. If you are just joining us, this is today on ACNN, and the segment I just passed was a review of our newspapers and also discussion that surrounds it. But right here, we would be looking, I would begin this discussion segment with a look at a timely publication titled Parenting Gen Z from the Therapist Standpoint. And this was done by no other but Dr. Felix Onyelola. The book explores the realities shaping today's generation, the Generation Z, as many would call it, from technology and social media to mental health, emotional intelligence, faith, and parenting in the digital age. It challenges parents, educators, pastors, and caregivers to move beyond discipline alone and embrace understanding, emotional safety, healthy communication, and Christ-centered guidance. Now, with the increasing concern over anxiety, identity struggle, and online influences among young people, the book offers practical, evidence-based, and faith-informed strategies for raising resilient, emotionally healthy, and purpose-driven children. It serves as a valuable resource for families navigating the complexity of modern parenting. This will lead us to our topic for today, which is Gen Z parenting and its impact on our society. Still with me in the studio is my co-anchor. All right. All right, thank you so much, Femi, for still being here to do this with me. And also, we have our comrade Habila Kait, who is the Executive Director of Godspeed Leadership and Mentorship Development Initiative. And also joining us virtually from the United States of America to speak on the topic before us is Dr. Felix Onyilola, who is a registered psychotherapist. Doctor, good morning. This is your segment and is glad having you do this with us this morning.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you, uncles. Rofemi there, I can see you. Good to see you again. And
thank you so much, sir.
Thank you. It's nice to see you doing well on this platform.
Thank you so much,
and also, my brother, thank you for having me. And I want to thank our other guests. Thank you for coming today.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor. This is your book, and indeed, it came handy, and it came at a time where we needed it the much more because a whole lot, I must repeat, a whole lot is happening in the generation and the time in which we find ourselves. And as an author, not just an author, just like Femi said, you are also a father in God, and you have come in at this time to provide solution where it is mostly needed. But now we want to dive into that conversation with you. And now, for me, personally, I would want to ask you, what inspired you to write Parenting Gen Z from the therapist standpoint at this time?
Very good question. Before I added this part of my life as a registered psychotherapist, a trained clergy of the Church of Nigeria Anglican Communion, and all my life I've been working with youths. I love youth so much, and I've been working with them almost all my life. So, and that has given me a lot of insight. And so when I began to practice as a registered psychotherapist, from the clinical perspective, I began to get exposed to a lot of issues. It has to do with youth in the world, people who are not even in the church. And I noticed that the same problem everywhere. And I noticed that this particular group, generation, are breaking down every day, every time. I have parents coming to me in the clinic saying, hey, this is my problem. And by the time they begin to explain this, it's all about their Gen Z. And when we talk about Gen Z, there are different generations. Generations are groups of people born during specific period. And each generation is shaped by unique historical, cultural, and technological influences. So Gen Z is one of them. And the people that were born between 1997 and 2012. I'm talking about the window of 14-year-old today and maybe 29 years old. People within that window are referred to as Gen Z. And many of them are experiencing a lot of mental breakdown, a lot of issues, relational issues within the family, crisis with parents, societal problems. Many of them are having a lot of problems fitting into the generation of today because of the parent who is raising them and not from their generation. There are a lot of generational gaps. And I began to see some of all these problems clustered. And I felt there's a need for me to do something. Meanwhile, before that time, I keep hearing parents asking me, oh, you speak so much about this, you speak so well about this. It's like you have more experience. Can you recommend a book for us? And I've read a lot of books about Gen Z, but I've not had anyone that precisely dealt with the issues. So I got this motivation from parents. Can Can you put something together for us? Can you write something for us? Can you help us with this? And that's where I draw the motivation from. And I say, wow, then I need to sit down and put into writing some of my experiences, clinical experiences, and with what is going on in the world. I've seen it through in the church, in the world now. I'm seeing it from different perspectives, and I think I have sufficient information to put together.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor. Thank you. And I believe we have a whole barrage of questions that we would be throwing to you. And thank you for that wonderful introduction as regards your motivation to write this book at this time. But now I want to ask you because not just Gen Z, we have a whole lot of generation, if I must say. Presently, there is one that is trending, which is called the Gen Alpha and the rest. Now, from my own standpoint, I want to ask, why do you believe that parenting Gen Z requires a different approach from the previous generation?
Thank you so much. That's another good question. When it comes to Gen Z, as classified the other time, they are generally regarded as digital natives. During their time, the everything digital gets more blown out. And of course, they are socially conscious compared to other generations. They are entrepreneurial and they are highly connected to their smartphones, laptops, iPad, whatever, and social media. And if you look at whatever is going on today, they are operating within those frameworks. That's why we see a lot of issues going on with this generation. So the generation between 14 and 29 are the mainstream of the youth, so-called youth of our generation. And we deal with them everywhere. In the family, outside, in the mall, in the church, we deal with them. So they are the light of our generation. They are the, generation of today. They are the generation in vogue. So we are relating with them every day compared to any other generation. That's why they are the emphasis.
All right, Doctor. There are a lot of misconceptions about Gen Zs. Some people see them as too assertive. Some see them as indisciplined, lacking moral values, not well brought up, or refusing to probably heed to trainings. But then, as an expert, and of course, as a doctor in your field, I want to ask, what is that biggest misconception parents have about Gen Zs?
Thank you. There are lots of misconceptions, like you have well stated. I think one of them is that they are very rude. It could be, depending on the approach you're giving to them. Now, due to this exposure, digital exposure, social consciousness, they know better. All right? Some of the information that some of us, when we grow up, we don't have access to, they have access to it. They know sometimes more than the parents. When it comes to constructive arguments, you can't beat them because they have facts, they have figure at their tips. They can Google anything, they can get any information. They are so smart. So, and that people felt they may be rude, depending on the way you communicate with them. And sometimes they don't have this patience that people of old have. They are just everything. They want everything fast food, microwave everything fast. So people feel that they can't be patient, they can't be hardworking, they are lazy. That's another misconception. They are lazy. And parents even face their children to tell them, you are lazy. And there are so many of those misconceptions. And we believe they can't endure, they are not strong, they are not resilient. These are misconceptions about this generation. And that misconception, brings about prejudices in the way we deal with them. When you are dealing with people and you are coming from a place of prejudice, you're going to run into trouble with them. All right, you're going to activate some negative emotions from them because you had your misconception about them and you are coming with that. Your child is on the bed, probably in the bed sleeping, and you are lazy. Wake up, you are lazy. When you begin to call names, you give them a lot of names and all that. That triggers negative emotions from them. So and so on. There are a lot of these misconceptions which I believe you have talked about some of them. You know some of them.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor. It has been quite an insightful time with you, and you have been giving us answers to all of these questions that we are asking. And I'm happy with the fact that you have spoken so well as regards this misconception. But looking at your book, Doc, you made mention some Gen Z being shaped by technology and the likes of societal changes there as touching to also the misconception that you think parents have of them. Now, I now want to ask, what then are those unique strengths that you think that this Gen Z generation possess? And how often time do you think that these strengths are being overlooked?
Part of it is this ability to communicate, which they have. They want to be talked to in a respectful manner, right? Because they are very intelligent. Like I told you that they are very smart. You can't beat them in any argument. And that's why it leads to fight in so many families, because you want to bring them to your generation, you want to bring them to your world. Meanwhile, they operate in a different world. Let me tell you now, genetically or developmentally, it has been noticed and research has proven that the food we are eating these days have a lot of influences in the way we raise children, in the way we grow children. So maybe some generation were raised, parents eating different kind of food, but these days, the fast foods and all that we eat have some impact on fetus, even when they are, in a state of pregnancy. And by the time you give back to them, some of them are so smart compared to people of old, and they have that capacity to engage you constructively. When I was growing up, when your parents are talking to you, you don't look at their face because it's considered as rudeness. But in this generation, these folks can look at you in the face and tell you no. And when you give them instruction, they ask you why. All right? You need to tell them, you need to convince them. You need to let them know why you are asking what you're asking. But some of us, or some of our parents felt, why are you asking me why? Why are you looking at my face when I'm talking to you? Why are you responding to me when I'm talking to you? He wants you to keep quiet. And, we don't want to listen to them. And we are losing that strength from there because they have capacity. They are expressive. They have seen it through. They can give you ideas. They can give you. We don't know. They know. They know. They can teach us what we don't know. So this is the capacity, their smartness, their ability to get you information, their ability to know how to go places, how to get things done digitally. They can handle your computer. They can handle so many things. Look at our churches today. When you look at the media, youths are the one there. This Gen Z are the one handling it, and you can see the impact on that. See the social media. See those people who are making content. These are power of the Gen Z that it has not been always there. So there are a lot of benefit, a lot of strength we overlook today. And I think when we take time to study them and listen to them, we'll be able to see more of this strength and explore them as a society.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor, for all of your apt analysis on your book there. And I will still have right here in the studio with us, Comrade Habila Kait, who we earlier introduced as the Executive Director of Godspeed Leadership and Mentorship Development Initiative. Comrade, I want to believe that your organization do not just deal with just the youths per se. You deal with the Gen Zs also. And as a mentorship initiative organization, what are those key things? How have you approached this issue of Gen Zs, which I believe you have come in contact with and as touching to what even the book author have said? Your take on all of this?
All right. First, I want to congratulate the author It is a very, very timely and important book. The approach is actually very, very good. When we focus on fault finding, then we probably might not be able to get the strength of these young persons. For the Godspeed Leadership and Mentorship Development Initiative, one of our flagship program is the retreat for head boys and head girls. And at the course of conversing with these young persons, we had the privilege of getting intake or some flows of information from them during some of our breakout sessions. And you discover that the communication that Doctor highlighted is one very, very important issue that has not been harnessed very well, even among teachers. Uh, some of the young persons, young leaders, the students feel the teachers are against them, some of them, because they will conceive one creative and beautiful idea, but on approaching the teachers, instead of listening to them and also find ways to see how they can um, uh, marry those ideas, but with the old way of doing things and the new way of doing things to, merge it for the sake of having productive outcomes. So some of the things that we also have discovered that for the Gen Zs, uh, their way of thinking and how fast they think, some of the teachers there in their schools, they probably are just listening to them because the stage where they are right now, they probably might just be seeing the teacher as if uh, they don't understand them and they don't know what they're talking about. Now, for us, we have always advocated that instead of just adopting or allowing the Gen Zs to have their way all through, we should have a way to, balance the fastness, the smartness, the all the positives, and that the other generations have not been able to understand to a more well craft ways to, let them understand that you are on the right path, we are doing the right thing, but this is how we want you to it. So when you slow them a little bit and you also walk towards their own thinking, because certainly the years that you have spent, you are more experienced than them. So once you marry both your knowledge with their generation, then you'll be able to control some of the things they are doing. So far, there are other things that we have discovered that is as a result of the parenting. Now, the early stage of a child development is very, very crucial. These are some of the times that you'll be able to control some of these excesses. Now, should we push away the place of discipline? No. Should we marry discipline with the current reality? Yes. Is there need to shift ground? Yes. The parents will have to shift and these young leaders have to shift. But there is a stage while you are growing that you do not have that liberty of having it your own way all through. And that is that's the shaping stage. If you do not allow yourself to shape that particular stage, for example, from age 0 to age 5, you have total in fact, even to age 10, you have total control over these children. Yes, my daughter is just 11, but when she handles my phone or computer, she does it better than me, but there is control. So if we fail to control some of these things from the early stage, then it will be very difficult for us to, have them understand us, or have them also explore some of the strengths that they're having for societal good.
All right.
All right, Doctor. Thank you so much, Comrade Avila.
Welcome back, viewers. We are still on the discussion segment where we are reviewing the book from our author there in person of Dr. Felix Onyilola. In a bit, we lost our audio there. We had to go off and then come back to continue with the conversation. My co-anchor was actually asking a question.
All right, Dr. Onyilola, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, sir. I have a great concern. Looking at the Gen Zs and the generation before them, it is very visible, I mean vividly visible, that we have moral gap. And this gap has led to gross decadence because of the lacuna. Doctor, we are not we're in a generation where people are looking for what to get, not what to contribute. People are not after posterity. They are after now. Sir, how do we bridge this gap?
Thank you. That's a very good question. When it comes to moral problem, like I've said the other time, that majority of the problem we're having today started from somewhere. We don't just find ourselves where we are today. Things degenerated to the level where we are today. And unfortunately for us, digital comes with both good and the other side. And that is what the problem we have, it comes with good side and bad side. The social consciousness comes with good side and the negative side. I don't think there's anything that has one side that doesn't have the other. It depends on how parents are able to manage all these things. The problem of management, that's where the moral decadence stems from. Our ability to manage. The word control, is for us clinically is not a word we usually use. That parents should control their children, because it's one of the allegations the Gen Z are making against their parents, that my parent is controlling, my mother is controlling, my father is controlling. So we are very careful in using that word control. Yeah, I'm talking about managing our children with their access to digital, access to smartphone, access to social media. I think there's a need for control. And that is where parents can come in to support their children. There's a need for us to be interested in what our children are watching, including cartoon for the people who are young. Like my brother Abila said the other time, that there's a need for us to culture them even from early childhood. Yes. So it's about managing them. I will use the word managing them. So I won't use control, managing them, because we need to manage whatever they are doing, their access, because that is where the moral decadence started from. When you open social media today, the first thing that will welcome you, will be unthinkable. So there's a need for parents to be interested in what their children are doing with digitals, with smartphone, on social media and all that. If your children are on Facebook, you should be there and be their number one friend. If they're on Instagram, be there to be their first fan. They're on TikTok, be there to be their first fan. So whenever they are doing whatever they are doing, right, you will see whatever they are doing, although they can still bypass you, they can still block you. So, but to the most aspect of it, you'll be able to at least check it, whatever they are doing. So we need to control their access to digital, social consciousness and all this, whatever they are doing with smartphones and gadgets.
All right, doctor.
All right, Doctor, thank you so much. And now I want to look at it from an angle of the mental health and emotional well-being for both the Gen Zs and any other age limit or group that may have been traumatized by these effects that we have spoken of. Now, as parents, I want to now ask, how could an average parent distinguish between a normal adolescent behaviors and signs that we would say are now more of a deeper emotional or mental health concerns? How would parents be able to distinguish this when they see it phase out in the life of their children?
That's a very good question. I think one of the things we have been fighting in mental health field in recent time, there have been a lot of campaign against that, is this stigmatization of mental health. And I think in Africa, we have a long way to go. Yeah, in the Western world, a lot of work is ongoing. There are a lot of this stigma we're talking about, but a bit better. There's a better management compared to what we have in the other part of the world. Now, whenever you begin to see something, begin to identify there's a problem. Mental health issue is a big problem among the Gen Z, among our young ones. A lot of them are going through a lot of problems. But sometimes parents are not available to even pay attention to some of these problems. Parents who is not knowledgeable about some of all these things find it difficult to identify a problem. In an educated society, when you see abnormality, when you see something tendency to the borderline, you don't need anybody to tell you. You know that this is wrong. For example, let me give an example. You see your child not leaving his room, always thinking, always jotting down everything, not taking his bath, not washing his teeth, not eating, not having friends, not mixing, not talking to anybody. You don't need anybody to tell you that something is wrong there. You need to check him and see what is happening. So when you see something, say something, ask questions. That is what parents are expected to do. But when parent is not educated, that complicates the problem again. So parents need to pay attention to everything indirectly. Some of this behavior are coming from somewhere. Some of this emotional problem are coming from somewhere. They don't want to discuss with parents what they are going through. They prefer sharing with their friends in school out there than talking to parents. So that's why parents need to pay attention and be friend to their children. And listen to them whenever they want to talk to you. Pay attention to every emotion. Pay attention to every signs, body languages, tone, body cues. We look into all these things, and from there you can know that something is wrong. Of course, there are a lot of mental health issues, but parents have a lot of work to do. To support them, we need to be their friend. We need to communicate assertively. We need to, listen to them, create time for them out of our tight schedule. And of course, when we see them shutting down emotionally, we should take time to, interact with them to find out what is going on.
All right, doctor. Let me ask. My question this morning will be out of concern. Growing up, we're built to be very tough, rugged. This resilient spirit. But today, it seems as if those things are fading away. Small thing, a little girl is sliding into depression. I don't know. What do you think is the cause? People are not tough, ability to stand and see things being dealt with. That's why I remember quite all right. That is how we grew up. But today you see any small thing, people slide into depression. A young girl say, I want to end it. Any small thing, I want to end it. What's the cause? I'm just asking to be well schooled.
Thank you, my brother. That's a very good question you are asking there. Back, you will always make reference to, early days when we were raised. We were raised in a disciplined atmosphere. Disciplined atmosphere. In school, our teachers are tough. They use cane. At home, our parents, they are no nonsense. Sometimes those discipline make a lot of sense. All right, so that our parents they took their time to raise some of us. They did not spare us. But this generation, the food they eat, you eat paki, you eat you eat some of those. They are eating fast food now. They are eating there are a lot of genetical modification in some of the food they are eating. That thing they break down because the food, the makeup, the composition, the constituent of some of this food are not, we want to be like people. Our parents now, they now keep quiet. Nobody is beating anybody again. Although those also create trauma. Beating people is not advisable, but it creates a lot of trauma for these children. But like I've told you, everything has both sides, both good side and the other side. But it's not encouraging, it's a negative consequences, and we don't encourage that. ways, but it created a lot of fear in our heart. When you want to do anything wrong, you remember, if my daddy got to know about this, oh, I'm done. You will control yourself. But this generation don't send you because they will get away with it. They can shut down their parents. So that problem also, they are not resilient. They are not resilient because of the way they were brought up. Our brother mentioned some of the ways, with his children. Some of these children were raised with, we call them Indomie generation, something like that.
Right.
Yeah, so they are not resilient because they get everything. Some parents even will go and register for their children in the bush to pass exam.
Yes,
I remember what WAEC. I see people writing WAEC 4, 5, 6, 7 times.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And they have it. But this generation, when did you hear somebody complaining, I failed WAEC again? The parents take their children, we hire somebody to write exam for them. I traveled to Fort Minna when I wanted to do direct entry to go and process my admission by myself. No parent followed me. I've never been to Minna in my life, to Niger State in my life. I traveled by myself to go and do that by myself. But these days, children will be watching TV or watching seasonal movies in the house. Their parent will be out there calling people, my children need admission. They will do it from phone. The parent doing. So we do a lot of things for these people, and they have some sense of entitlement because parents are doing everything for them.
Right.
So they are not resilient. So when they have opportunity to travel out of the country, some of them came here to study. They failed all the courses. They have a lot of mental health breakdown. We see a lot of them here. Some of them, oh, my children is in abroad. Many of those children are having problems. Some of them are homeless here. Because their parents were doing all those things for them at home, and they got to this place, they face reality. The reality dawned on them, and they broke down. They are out of school. They failed all the courses. They are homeless. They are out of status in their immigration. They can't go back home again because they are not resilient. So that is the problem. The way we raise some of these children, we allow them to have their fun, have their way. We are not firm again. We are not assertive. No discipline, no correction. We indulge them. We don't even, some parents don't even have time. They work from morning to night. They don't even know what happened to these children after school hours. So there are a lot of things wrong with our generation. I think the parent has a lot of work to do.
All right. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Doctor. But we are almost out of time. But I would not let you go without asking you just say 2 more questions. Your book, the book we are actually reviewing, combines therapy and some basic Christian principle. Why is this integration? Why is it important for you as an author to have integrated both perspective?
All right, thank you. That's a very good question. Like you know, I'm a minister. I'm an Anglican clergy, and of course, venerable for that matter. So, what do you expect? I have been, like I told you, I've been working. I'm privileged to work with leaders who allowed me to work with the youth in their dioceses. So I'm so fortunate. So I have seen it through spiritually in my interaction with the youth, and now combining, secular work with the ministry here, because all the clergymen in this part of the world were, bivocational. We are not just pastor. We have other work we are doing outside because you have to bring food to the table, right? So that is where you see the competition. And of course, every human being is spiritual. He may not be religious, but every human is spiritual. So there's a need for us to have effective intervention, therapeutic intervention. There's a need for us to integrate the spiritual piece. Human beings are tripartite in nature. Yeah. We are spirit, we are soul, we are body. So a holistic man is not just physical. Holistic man is spiritual. Spirit, soul, and body. So for us to heal a whole man, there is a need for you to dive into the spiritual piece. That's why some of us who integrate spirituality into our intervention are better therapists. I can say that again and again, because we are not just dealing with psychic. We are dealing with the spiritual side of humanity. That which is born of the spirit is spirit. And that which is born of the flesh is flesh. So we are both We combine all these pieces. So for me to do thorough job, you need to bring spirituality into it, because the spiritual will go down into the subconscious man, the inner man. That's what will determine who we are. We are not, this is not me. The real me is inside of me. So, and it cannot be seen as spiritual. So for you to be able to deal with the whole man, the making of a whole man, you need to bring in a spiritual piece into it. I tell you that things are controlled in the sphere of the spirit. Things are not measurement, things are not ordinary. So when you take, including parenting, there is a place of intercession, aggressive intervention. You are interceding for your children, you are praying for them as you are doing physical things. Physical is not, it's not enough. You still need to do the spiritual part of it. So the combination will make it better and perfect.
All right. Thank you so much, Doctor. But before we let you go, we will take a breather and then take a watch of a video that is in line with what we are discussing. And when we come back from that, we'll get your own conversation, your own contribution, on that video, and then we'll call it a wrap with this segment with you.
So I'm not useless, so I'm not useless. By God's grace, I'm not saying no they work out for me now. I'm not useless. I'm not useless. Make God forbid uselessness. Because not be one way they work out of person's life. Just because they want to know work, no means I'm that to know work.
Where the other pay one work?
You go work, mommy. You go work.
Where the other thing?
You go work. You go work. After 2 years like day. 22 years now, day, mommy. I no go thief. What should they ask? 22 years now, the people they use me, they compare. From much you use me, they compare. Now they fed for them. Use me, they compare them. What thing they ask you? What thing they say me you do for me? You don't mean they carry everything for myself. What thing they ask you? What for you? The time say you put me 80,000 naira. 150,000 now this time down. 150. I tell you now. 80,000 now give 150 now this time down. And my money and they add. And they go to work. They ask you for practical. Wait, the money when I do the practical, you they give me. Maybe you want cast me. Money they do practical, now you they give me. You not basically when they owe when they learn that work. You not basically when they owe. When I go learn, when people nobody they help me they do anything. You know how much I spend for practical. No. What do they tell me?
What do you talk? You talk anything come outside.
Who I want tell? Who I want tell? Who I want tell?
I don't get that. Go find go take your hand.
What will you go tell me what I want is my life? By God's grace, when anything I do, I go see her. I'm a leaver.
You learn work.
Come outside. You feel you go street when you go to talk for them. I don't care. I don't care.
You know book. You learn work. All the work where you know everything. What did they do for that? The team machine now is like cat on the box.
I said I know they use tailor. I don't want to use tailor. Anything I can, I go get her.
You don't want to use tailor. What you don't want to use and make the same.
Let me see make I see my mates. No, they tell me to make I see my mates. One time reach, whether my mates go or they never go, me go still go my own. Now my life as they follow. Now my trail as they follow. Now my trail as they follow. I know they follow person trail.
I don't know they say time they go. Give up your money. They tell the time they go. Now what are they doing about that?
No, make it a shot. That's why last time we be everywhere they okay for me by this time. When we say I feel they show up and they know they remind me say time God go see things call just add. Now you got day enter your mind say time door they go.
No time where God no dey take answer person. Anytime when you carry am. God tell me you carry am, help you put am for your head. Anytime when you take carry am, God go bless. He go pour am for you. Not be until million years coming. Earlier the better. People they sing and say they don't know what they talk. Earlier the better.
No, you no get faith for me. Me will be saying that me they live the life. Now me know where for they pay me. I get faith for myself.
I don't get faith. You when you get faith, that God have made that faith. They manifest. No. I want make that faith where she get. They manifest for her body. No. Make a minute no pass her.
I mean, they pay me. The matter they pay me for body. You know, we say, I beg again. I know they go again. I know go. Now they play with and say they know they call me for foul matter. Maybe say she carry, say she want to they call me, she want to tell everybody. Maybe she they talk. I know they go.
Back viewers, there you have it, the video that we just watched of a Gen Z, I must say, a girl in her 22 is still actually falls within the range according to what our doctor said earlier in the course of the show. And now this is what or where we have find ourselves in the African setting, Nigeria especially, where you see parents mounting a whole lot of pressure on the younger generation to deliver what in my own word, I would say even the parents themselves was so unable to do. And these have led so many young persons into means that are not culturally or socially acceptable within our society. This is where we find ourselves. Doc, I would now want to bring you into this conversation. We believe you watched that video, you listened to every statement from both half, both of the mother and also of the young lady there who is talking in line with what we are saying. Because presently, the young ones, the Gen Z, are faced with a whole lot of pressure to deliver dividends from their age, even as touching the family level. So, what is your take on this?
Yeah, that's where so many family parents are losing it, because immediately you begin to make a demand or a request, whether economic request or other requests from your children, and it's like you are exposing yourself to them, and that will call for disrespect. And of course, at the end of the day, that children will be, out of get out of hand. And if anything happens tomorrow, we will blame you as a parent. Say you caused it. You caused it. So poverty sometimes is a big problem. Poverty is a big problem, and that is one of the things that can cage parents. This Gen Z we're talking about, they can make money so fast. Sometimes they have a lot of things. And parents who is always in need, also looking at the Gen Z, making things happen. There's no day parents will not mount pressure on such agency. So I've told you, poverty is a big problem, especially where we come from. Some parents have lost their audacity, they have lost their control, their capacity as parents because of poverty lacking and all that. So that's the problem. So if you want to, that's why if you want to have healthy society, there is a need for us to deal with poverty problems. And when you look at the environment too, the environment speaks volume, right?
Yes.
That environment speaks volume. So you know what to expect from that place. That lady can have millions in her account as you are listening to her. Probably through sleeping with somebody outside, getting money elsewhere because of all this parent problem of poverty. So the parents also, we can't blame parents. It is what it is, and that's why with education, more education and more education, people going into entrepreneur, and our society should be better.
All right.
All right, Doc. I know that we don't have time again, and I think your final word now. But then before your final word, where can we get this? Your book? People that are willing to have a copy of the book, how can they get access to a copy of your book?
My intention is to get the book into the hands of people who can read it. I have the book on Amazon. I have it on some other platform, but it's unfortunate that back to the corruption we have. If you get this, PDF file into the hand of people, before you know what's happening, they will make book out of that. They will get money. They will make money out of it. All right, but it's very difficult. But people who have access to Amazon and other platforms, they can get it from there. You can get e-copy. You don't need, these days, this as part of the technological development we have in our age, we don't need to get a physical book. You can download it online. You can download it on your laptop, download it on your phone, and read it from there. So, but for those people who like to hold the paper book, you may need to order from Amazon, But if you want to read it so fast, okay, you can have it on your phone or your iPad or your laptop to read it. That is more faster. So I will advise that, and for those people who have access to Amazon, they can get it on Amazon.
All right, and I don't think it's out of place if I seize this platform to thank Doctor for being a mentor. Indeed. He has been a mentor for so many years. Way back in Kwara State, he has been a father in God. I don't think it's out of place if I seize this platform to thank you for your labor upon us. So seeing you here is not a surprise. Indeed. Would have been more surprised if you are not here. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, my brother. I'm happy to see you and my other brother. I watch this platform from time to time, and I see good job which you are doing. I said, I know Rofemi to be a priest. When did he become a broadcaster? So you are doing a lot of good job there. I said, so it's so awesome to see you doing exploit in this platform. Like we used to pray and talk about it, that, impact in a global platform. That we keep talking about that when we were not here. And I see God taking us to that level, and I'm happy to see this coming to fruition.
Thank you, sir.
And I want to thank God also. It's a good anchor, good program.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much, sir.
All right. Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Felix Onyilola, for taking our time to explain all that you have written in the few minutes we have, because we know that even if we have to use more than this time, it would be not completely exhaustive, because there is so much to take in. And I believe our viewers out there have enjoyed every bit of what you said, and not just staying there to be entertained, but also have picked lessons from your book, from the words you have said, the knowledge you have dished out, even in the course of today's show. So from us here, we want to say a very big thank you, Doctor, for joining us in reviewing your book. Thank you. Thank you so much for being part of the show.
Thank you, my brothers. Thank you. I appreciate you.
All right. Thank you for joining us. That was Dr. Felix Onyola, a registered psychologist and also the author of the book, which we'll call Parenting the Gen Z in a Time Like This. And we would now be moving on with other segments of the show, but we will take a short breather. When we return, we'll dive into that particular segment. All right, welcome back, viewers. The video you just watched is that of a lecturer who get an unexpected visit from the husband of a married female student he is allegedly harassing for sex. The accused lecturer happens to be the head of Department of History and International Studies at Northwest University, formerly called Yusuf Maitama University, and a visiting lecturer at Miriam Abacha American Nigeria University. He allegedly kept refusing to approve a married student's project for 2 years because she wouldn't give in to his advances. The woman complained to her husband and there set a trap for him. According to reports from those who have seen the lecturer's chat with his married student, he fixed an appointment to have illicit sex with her right after what they call the Maghrib prayer. For those who doesn't know, Maghrib happens to be, I think, the evening prayer. However, when he showed up at the agreed time to meet with this woman, her husband and other persons were waiting there for him, and he was nabbed right there. Would I say committing the act? Yes, he was caught. And there you have it from the video. Comrade, these are the times we find ourselves. We're just finishing discussing issues pertaining Gen Z. So where would you categorize this? And given the fact that it is not just the first time this is happening within the university setting?
This is the reality that we have found ourselves in our schools. We are only privy to, see this. If young ladies will recount their experiences in the hands of some of the people that are supposed to be mentoring them, it will be surprising to see the number of people that can, share their experiences. For people who, based on every standard, are supposed to be the compass for these young persons to, learn morals and to, also remain in the path of integrity. But they are the same people who are supposed to mold these people and are asking for what they are not supposed to, ask. For refusing someone to graduate from school for about 2 years, it raises so much concern, and only God knows how long the wife may have concealed this very information to her husband, and probably she get tired of not explaining, and she had to explain. For the woman, if she I want to commend her for holding herself, not giving herself to pressure, because there are people who, when this kind of pressure hit them, they easily will give in and defile themselves. While I also agree strongly that by all standards we are not supposed to take the laws into our hands. We are supposed to allow those people who are saddled. Yes, setting the trap is very okay, but we are supposed to allow the people who are saddled with the law to, handle that. We are not supposed to see a grown-up man being humiliated like that. Let the law take its full course. If the man deserves to, be treated in the way he has been treated, let it be from the law enforcement agencies.
All right.
But it is very, very bad for someone who's supposed to be a moral compass to, be the one trying to derail the people he's mentoring.
All right, thank you so much. Thank you so much. And now we would be looking at another video that is trending and making rounds across social media on this trending story segment this morning. And that is of a young man who visited the AP filling station to buy diesel worth 18,000 naira. And what's later happened becomes a shocker to not just the young man, but to everyone who may have come across this video. Let's take a watch. Right, welcome back, viewers. There you have it. There, it's troubling indeed. Where, as a nation, we are still grappling with the high cost of fuel, diesel, and all other basic essential energies that we need to commute on a daily basis, and those that are saddled with the responsibility of marketing this product would engage in this kind of act. Femi, what's your take on this?
I don't know. I was trying to tell the comrade Abi like that. And online Nigeria, I'm sorry, with all due respect. No, we always say that government are bad, This is not government. This is not Tinubu. This is not the SGF. This is not Akpabio. This is a Nigerian to a Nigerian. You understand? So we should be able to treat ourselves fairly and better. If the government is not doing well, we should do well. How will a man drive his truck to a fuel station and get in there 18,000 naira and there's no common fuel in the tank? So if he has not seen it, he will pay for what? Emptiness. So we should know that for Nigeria to be good, it will not start from the top. But let us look at ourselves individually, how I relate with you, what I do to you. And don't forget, we deserve the kind of leader we have because our mindset is cruel. May God help us.
Amen. Comrade.
I am glad that the the customer, was very vigilant. Now, this is not the responsibility of the customer to dictate this. We have regulatory agencies that are supposed to walk around filling stations, disguise themselves in any form to be able to dictate some of these things. Take a jerry can to a petrol station and request for a particular liter of fuel. And at the end of the day, you end up paying high, and the quantity of the product you are getting is not commiserating with the liters that you are getting. So this is a wake-up call to regulatory agencies that they should be able to fish out bad eggs in the society.
All right. Thank you so much. You've heard it from both Michael and Co and also my guests here in the studio. And in the Pigeon Palace, we would ask the question, now who do us like this? But I would leave that for you, viewers. And then moving ahead with another trending story, which I earlier introduced, is that of having women now faking pregnancies with the use of steroid to deceive their husband. This is coming from the ex-NAPTIC Director General. Let's take a watch and then dive into that discussion. Welcome back, viewers. There you have it, a whole lot that is trending across the social media. But for me, the question I want to ask is the actual baby that would come after the whole fake pregnancy thing and the rest. Where are they coming from? That is a big question. Comrade.
I'm actually speechless. I'm actually speechless when I watch and listen to the testimony from the NAPTIP, former NAPTIP boss. She doesn't. She's someone with experience, so I believe she's speaking from the point of authority. This is the height of desperation from women, or just to see that the tie a man to just have a baby, and whatever the intentions must have been, it is a very wicked intention, and the society should not um, take this as a norm.
All right.
It is sad.
When they are being discovered, or whenever this is discovered, they should be arrested immediately. If this is not curbed, it will destroy the institution called marriage, because that would be gross insincerity. Getting pregnant, faking it, and then going to buy a baby. After a few years, you go and do DNA. The father is not the father of the baby. You know, all these misconceptions and confusion everywhere. Let it be discouraged now. Let the government put in whatever it is that is needed to be put in and get them arrested. Please, because of the unknown future.
All right.
I think I just want to collaborate with what Reverend Femi have said. This doesn't look like a one-man show. It's a kind of a team thing for her to be there, and for the person, even the doctors that are going to do the
Yes.
CH, and the source where the babies are coming in, they should all be arrested.
All right, I can't agree less with what everyone have said right here in the studio, and I believe that goes to you, our viewers on the show this morning. All right, Femi.
All right, thank you so much, viewers. Now we go to the segment of the message for the day. Be right back.
Many parents are beautifully decorated, beautifully equipped for a world that no longer exists. Only Jesus is the same yesterday and today and forever. Many parents are existing in a world that no longer exists. This is how my father raised me. Times have changed. This is how we grew up. You are beautifully equipped for a world that no longer exists. Stop being a professional in the old and start learning in the new. Some of you are here, maybe my age. You are my age bracket. You know how many times you have spoken to your children to help to teach you how to do something on your phone. My children will say, Mommy, you're just carrying this thing. You're only doing text messages. Phone is more than that. So my last born says to me, Mommy, anytime anybody wants to do anything for you on the phone, don't let them do it. Tell them to teach you. So I will put my go back to settings. What? Because there's a new world that is in existence. You cannot afford to be a professional in the old. You must learn to be an amateur in the new. Learning. Parenting, number one, is a privilege. And here you are doing family planning. Here you are saying, it's only girls I have, it's only boys I have. It is a great privilege. It is a privilege to be a father or to be a mother. Number two, it is a massive trust given by God. For a child to be sent to you to take care of. Remember in Exodus chapter 2, Pharaoh's daughter said to Moses' mother, take care of this child and I will pay you your wages. That's the same thing God did by giving us children, boys, girls. God is impliedly saying, take care of these children and I will pay your wages. We have grown in a culture that says the child must take care of me. Do you know how much I paid as your school fees? Do you know? Biblically, a righteous man leaveth an inheritance for his children's children. I don't want us to live and end our lives the way our parents and our grandparents lived. Live your life in such a way that your evening and your night will not be dependent on your children. Let's change the trajectory. So stop putting pressure on them. You are not taking care of me. So you see how much you did your responsibility by sending them to school. Live your life in such a way that if your child gives you $100,000, the child will feel privileged. Not because you need it, but because some blessings are not said, they are provoked. Genesis 27, beginning from verse 27. Give me venison, that's my soul, not my mouth. My soul. Some blessings come from the mouth, some from the soul. So when your child brings that money, the child is saying, I want to provoke something from your soul. It's a questioning generation. It looks like a confused generation. But we need to understand this generation. Otherwise, we will lose them. This generation, they are battling too many things. The devil is interested. Peers. This generation is not taking the traditional answers. This generation lives inside technology. You must know your child. And there's no way you can know your child if you don't spend time with your child. Number two, you must love your child and show the child that he or she is loved. Don't compare your children. That a child does not understand mathematics does not make that child a failure. He may be good in other things. Encourage that thing.
All right, so welcome back, viewers. Comrade Abela, what's the
Yes.
comment on that in those 1 minute?
This is timely. The message is straight to the point. Um, she highlighted all that needed to be put in place. We are in a generation that we have to understand our children. We have to love them. We also have to accept the fact that we are their time is not the same with our time.
All right, thank you so much. Over.
Correlate with everything that we have said in the course of the show, from the segment of the book review down to all of the videos we've taken, all of the lapses we've seen in parenting, and now ending the show on this note is quite an interesting one, we must say. But before we go, I will just have to take the last word from both Michael and Co and Comrie. Comrie, let me start from you.
Growing up, I prefer my parents to catch me in the act when I am doing something wrong than my neighbors or other parents to report me to my parents. I agree completely with the subject of discussion today that we have to embrace Gen Z and to also try to help communicate well with them. But for parents, do not give those young persons more than what you're supposed to give them. And do not take the place of discipline while dealing with these young people. That's my final take.
All right, thank you so much, Femi.
All right, I would like to say that discipline is a universal phenomenon. Gen Z's, millennial, whatever it is, it can never be eroded. Parents should please not throw away the place of discipline. Gen Z, Gen Alpha, whatever it is, discipline your children, and you will see that the results will be positive. Thank you.
All right, viewers, there you have it from my co-anchor, Femi Ogundare there, and also for my guest right here in the studio in person of our comrade Habila Kite, the Executive Director of Godspeed Leadership and Mentorship Development Initiative. Thank you so much
Thank
for
you.
taking our time to be with us on the program this morning.
Thank you.
And also, I want to, in absentia, thank our virtual book reviewer and author who took out his time to be on the set with us to review his book, in no other person but Dr. Felix Onyola. Thank you so much, sir, for being part of this show. And to you, our viewers, thank you for staying tuned. We believe you have been educated. We believe you have learned something to take ahead with you as you move on with your day. This, however, is the size of our package on today's show. And I want to thank every one of you, both those at the backstage, for staying tuned to the end of this program, and also to our viewers. Remember, you can get more of our programs via various social media platforms and by staying tuned to this station. We'll come your way again with other interesting topics, same time, same station tomorrow. You'll have yourselves a great day ahead. I am Godwin Ujiri, and bye for now.